It is 6:45. Welcome back to Montana this morning. A cool 41 degrees to get our Tuesday started. We're checking out the Moss Mansion this morning. The morning sunrise was keeping us entertained earlier today, and it sounds like the sky's going to keep us guessing throughout the day. That'll let us know what we can expect in his forecast in just a few minutes. Well, we begin in Paris, where officials are treating the fire that destroyed most of the Notre Dame Cathedral as an accident. French media are reporting the Paris Fire Brigade believe it was potentially linked to a renovation of the church. A fire tore through the landmark yesterday, destroying its roof and spire while gutting its interior. The building's outer walls and two bell towers were salvaged. French President Emmanuel Macron has already said the cathedral will be rebuilt. Back here in Montana, high school students from Missoula's Loyola High are heartbroken after visiting Paris and the church just a few weeks ago. 20 students were there on a spring break trip. The students expressed how fortunate they are to have seen the cathedral before its destruction.
In a word, tragic. It's heartbreaking to see that. I mean, you can watch the video of the spire coming down and it hurts you right here because it is such a big Catholic symbol. I'd like to think that, you know, I was there at the time that I was there for a reason, that I got to see it, the original Notre Dame church, before it did get destroyed.
I was really confused. I was like, something like this couldn't happen because it is Holy Week and it's a very important piece of art. It's not just a cathedral, it's art and it's architecture, and it's just a historical building that lots of people care about.
Also making this morning's headlines, the Justice Department will release a redacted version of the Mueller report on Thursday. Last month, Attorney General William Barr said the special counsel determined that no one in the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. And while Mueller made no decision as to whether President Trump obstructed justice, Barr said there wasn't enough evidence to charge the president with a crime. From our schools, although young, student voices can be strong, which is why Billings School District 2 is calling on its students to express why the community should pass a high school mill levy.
It's no secret that high school textbooks are severely outdated. My history textbook sophomore year, first of all, we didn't have enough to take home, which put a damper on the stuff that we could do. We couldn't do outside homework because we can't take a book home either.
That promotional video will be used to share information with the community and taxpayers. During Monday night's school board meeting, Superintendent Greg Upham expressed how much the levy is needed across Billings high schools. He says the district has not been able to offer some advanced classes due to the lack of facilities and instructional material. Upham says he is committed to transparency.
We can't, as an entire community, hope to pass levies or be afraid to introduce them for fear they'll fail. It's on us as an entity to communicate with our community so that they understand the importance of what we're doing, the relevance, the accountability, and the transportation when they give us those funds. We need to do a better job. What our community needs to understand is our children and our students have to compete, and in order to compete, we need to create the best environment we can for them so that they have an edge in this. And by passing this, it gets us on the right track.
Students from all three Billings Public High Schools will gather on the Yellowstone County Courthouse lawn this afternoon at 4 o'clock in support of the levy. From the 66th session in Helena, after 4 days of stalemate, the state Senate finally advances one of the biggest bills of the session. MTM's Mike Dennison has more on Monday's vote and debate over the continuation of Medicaid expansion.
The day on the Senate floor opened with a dramatic 26-24 vote, breaking a 4-day deadlock and placing the Medicaid expansion bill on the debate calendar later in the day. That vote was crucial, enabling the bill to meet a transmittal deadline that otherwise might have killed it. More than 4 hours later, the same 26-vote majority held for debate stage approval, advancing House Bill 658 to a final Senate vote on Tuesday. Opponents, however, didn't go down without a fight, arguing the legislature is going against the will of Montana voters, who last November defeated a ballot measure that proposed extending the program and funding it with higher tobacco taxes.
I think they voted because it was a tax, because it's socialized medicine, because it incentivizes people to not work and to be in the poverty level so that they can get a benefit for remaining under the poverty line. The voters of Montana said no, and here we are, some of us thinking we know better.
Democratic Senate Leader John Sesso argued that voters said no to higher taxes, but not to Medicaid expansion.
We have done what the people asked us to do and is not raise their taxes to pay for this program. This is the product that we put together, and I would ask for a due pass today because people are counting on us.
90% of the $700 million a year program is funded by the federal government. A new tax paid by Montana hospitals also will pick up most of the state's share of the costs. Senator Dan Solomon of Ronan, one of 6 Republicans to support the measure on Monday, said Montana accepts federal money to help pay for many programs, and that HB 658 was an easy vote for him because of its economic benefits and aid to rural hospitals.
What's the first thing people look for when they look for a place to live? They look for housing, etc. Then they look, where is it in relationship to schools and hospitals? So we lose our smaller hospitals. That's going to make a big difference in how we look at things and how people look when they're looking for a place to live and a job.
If the Senate approves Medicaid expansion on Tuesday, it goes back to the House for a final vote, and then it could go to Governor Bullock for his signature. Whether that path depends on the fate of other bills remains to be seen. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And the controversial bill that supporters say will extend the life of the Colstrip 4 power plant passes a preliminary vote in the state House. Lawmakers endorsed Senate Bill 331 by a 62-38 vote Monday. The bill originally guaranteed Northwestern Energy could charge customers up to $75 million over 10 years for new expenditures at the Colstrip plant. Supporters say it has been amended to address some of the main concerns, including giving the Montana Public Service Commission a greater say in improving the costs. Opponents said they expected the changes would be reversed as the bill moves forward.
In committee, we ensured that there was Public Service Commission oversight of costs and purchases, and that was the #1 concern I've heard about for a month or two, so we took care of that.
This is going to be stripped out of this bill, as well as every other good thing that got amended into this bill is going to get stripped out. And so I like to call this the 72 Vega bill, because this is a dangerous vehicle.
SB 331 must pass a final vote in the House today. The Senate will then decide whether to accept the House's amendments. The Montana House has endorsed a major reform to Montana's medical marijuana system. House members voted 68-32 in favor of Senate Bill 265 on Monday. The biggest change in the bill is untethering patients from providers, meaning patients would no longer have to choose a single provider to purchase their marijuana. The bill originally raised a tax on medical marijuana providers from 2 to 4%, but that bill has been amended to make that increase temporary. Supporters say the bill will give regulators the tools to better manage marijuana across the state. The bill must pass a final vote in the House today to move forward. U.S. Department of Education investigators are in Montana this week looking into allegations of discrimination in the Wolf Point School District. According to the American Civil Liberties Union of Montana, the investigators are from the department's Office of Civil Rights. The investigators will speak with students and parents about their experiences with the Wolf Point School District. A complaint filed in 2017 states many Native American students left school entirely due to multi-layered discrimination. The Office of Civil Rights is expected to issue its final report later this summer or in the fall. A man and woman could each go to prison after Gallatin County Sheriff's deputies say they were caught having sex in a local Hot Springs children's pool with kids nearby. 33-year-old Dawn Klein appeared in court Monday morning. Her co-defendant, 37-year-old Aaron Miller, will be in court today. They're each charged with indecent exposure. The Hot Springs manager and 4 witnesses saw Klein and Miller having sexual intercourse about 10 feet from children in the pool on Friday before someone called the sheriff's office. Deputies say surveillance footage also caught them in the act. The couple was later pulled over and arrested. Klein's bail was set at $5,000 and she's not allowed to go back to the Hot Springs. Now in much lighter news, the musical talents of the Great Falls Police Department are catching some national attention.
It's been 24 hours, I need more hours with you.
The Great Falls Crew is one of 30 agencies whose lip sync video could appear on a CBS special. The officers made the video last August after a challenge from the Montana Highway Patrol. The officers' version of the song, Girls Like You, honors the partners and families who are behind the badge. Lip Sync to the Rescue, hosted by Cedric the Entertainer, will be filmed in Los Angeles this summer. The public can vote online to help Great Falls make the cut.
Vote every day. Vote multiple times on your lunch break, on your coffee break. Sit there, hit the vote button a couple times. I was at breakfast with my daughter this morning, and that's what she was doing for me. She was hitting the vote button. It was cute. But yeah, the more that we can get this video out there to the nation, the more that we can recognize those people who matter, who help us do our job by supporting us.
And officers say the original words of the song didn't exactly fit with the police department, so the officers reworked the lyrics and actually sang the vocals.